Hi designers, welcome back to eSchool. What was your decision when we looked at this on our test day on Thursday? Which strand are you working in? These are some important things that you need to think about today as we get organized for the next 2 weeks of eSchool. If you were looking at it and you are in the video production strand, I don't think that there's any change that you need to make to what you're working on or how you work. You can still work on videos and edit with WeVideo and share your edits with your classmates that you're working together in teams with. You might need to work together on Google Documents, so you plan out which parts of which shots you guys are working on together. You might need to do a Google Hangout together to talk about what you're planning and work on it collaboratively to figure out how you're going to do that. But essentially, I think video production strand doesn't really get affected by this other than you're at home instead of at school working on it. And there will be a little bit of logistics there that you'll have to deal with. If you were working on an electronics project and you'd really like to continue working on that, let me know what you need and I can have it packaged up and ready for you to pick up in the library when you come by school. The middle school building itself is off limits outside of school hours. During school hours, it's available to teachers only. Outside of school hours, it's off limits. We're not supposed to be in this building at all. So I can't leave it for you here in the DT lab. I can't meet you here, but I can put your kit together so you can pick it up from the library. There's also on Tinkercad a digital model there that you can use to practice making circuits, test them, see how they work, as if you were doing physical circuits. So you can continue learning about circuits and use all kinds of different components, even if you are evacuated to your home country, even if you can't get into school. Maybe you live in a part of Cairo that you can't get back here easily to pick up that kit. We can still get some electronics work done and you can continue studying for these 2 weeks. So here, let me know, communicate with me. Email would be good. You could also send me a message in our Google Classroom. What you need for support in order to do your learning for electronics. Woodshop is kind of difficult because of the supplies and the equipment that you need. The basic projects people were working on in the woodshop are not probably going to get done over the next 2 weeks. If you would like to continue working on your skills for woodshop, there are 2 things I can recommend. One is that you make models out of paper or cardboard and glue or tape, whatever you've got at home, and make your models as high fidelity as you can, meaning that as much as possible, build the model like you would build the real thing. If there are round pieces on your real project, build a round piece in cardboard or on paper. If you need help and you're not sure how to do that, let me know. I can give you videos on all kinds of cardboard modeling. It's very, very well developed across the world. YouTube is full of how to model with cardboard, and you can look it up yourself if you want to. The other thing that you can do for woodshop would be to teach yourself over the next 2 weeks SketchUp, which is a 3D modeling program that I just discovered as part of my research for what are we going to do during these 2 weeks. I just discovered it's ideal for modeling woodshop projects, and it's actually really quick to learn for that because you're only going to use about 3 or 4 tools in the whole SketchUp suite for how to use basic woodshop projects and how to model them in 3 dimensions. I will put up some videos in the woodshop strand so that you can get to that and work on learning that product if that's of interest to you. It is also a web-based product like Tinkercad, but there are some really good reasons to use it instead of Tinkercad, particularly for measuring, because it has some really good tools for measurement. Now, those of you who are in CAD-CAM may be thinking, oh, I've wished I could measure stuff in Tinkercad. Now I should switch to SketchUp, which I would highly encourage you not to do. Unless you're doing woodshop, SketchUp is not that great of a product. For most of CAD-CAM, what we're modeling are solid things. We're building them on the Fusion fused. It's called Fused Deposition Model Printer, FDM printer. That's our style of 3D printer where it squeezes it out like toothpaste. If we model it on an FDM printer, that's a solid product. SketchUp does not do solid, it does faces. So when you build a cube in SketchUp, it's actually 6 faces together. And if you take a face away, you can see the whole inside of the cube. It's hollow. That's not real for 3D modeling. And so SketchUp with 3D modeling becomes a bit tricky. People do it, but I'm not going to support you doing that because it makes it much, much more difficult in the long run to model that way when you're doing 3D, 3D printing, 3D output of any kind. But it is really useful for woodshop. Otherwise, on the CAD-CAM strand, I think just like video production, this is totally doable online. You can continue working on your 3D modeling skills. You can send me designs that you think are ready for printing. I can look through it and record a video about my thoughts as I look at your piece so that you can see what else you might want to design, other things that I can think of that you might want to consider. We can keep going back and forth like that. When you think you're ready, and I think you're ready, I can actually print it and then I can show you what happened via video and leave it for you to pick up if you can get into CAC at the gate or at the library. So that I think totally doable, continue exactly as you would in class for the CAD-CAM strand. Graphic design likewise, totally doable online. All of our tools are digital here. You can continue to use Vector. You could keep learning Inkscape or Adobe Illustrator if those are what you're working on, and create products and send them in for review to me, and I can give you feedback. All doable online. And coding, of course, is going to be totally doable online. I also just discovered a new tool for coding called REPL, which I am getting set up. That's going to allow us to do all of the typing-based programming like Python and Swift and other languages when you're past Scratch. This is going to give us a much deeper, richer ability to do programming as soon as I get it set up. And they give it away free for schools now since the coronavirus is sending everybody home. So I'm applying right away so that we can get a free license for that. And I have my fingers crossed that they'll get to that very quickly. So what is it for you today? I would like you to give me your plan in today's job and tell me, what are you going to do for the next 2 weeks? We have the rest of this week, and then we have the week after we come back from spring break that we will be in eSchool for sure. And then the board will meet and evaluate the situation at that point, the recommendations from the WHO, the recommendations from Egypt's government, and the requirements that Egypt's government has put in place here. And we may continue eSchool, we may come back physically, we don't know yet. So we need to plan for the next 2 weeks at least with a view to thinking we might be doing this for many weeks. What do you want to work on and how can I best support you? That's what I need to hear from you for today.